Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your Stock Spider ETF market wrap-up, and this is for Tuesday, the 21st of February, 2023. All right. I said this morning I was going to do a special report, and I did it. So we've done our first individual stock report. And I decided to go with Walmart, the day's big mover, one of the things that is going to be exciting in the markets. But I'm not just going to stop there. I'm going to keep going with other markets as time goes on for you. And you'll see them. I gave commentary, price counts. We don't do seasonals. We've got this in here. We'll fix this ad. But see, there are no seasonals to work with on this. But I cover all different areas like retail. Then we'll go into some of the internet stocks. We certainly the game changer type stocks that we'll look at, the motor stocks, whatever's making news. That's what we're going to do. So how do you get this report? You just go to iraepstein.com and you'll see the word at the very top, research. Give it a click. You'll see the report. Click on it. Or you can click up here. There'll be an icon during the playing of this. Just move your cursor there. It'll appear. Give it a click. Away you go. If you have troubles, call my staff. All right. Now, next week, I am going to be scheduling a webinar. I'm looking for the date and time. I'll let you know more about it as the week goes on, so we'll do that. But I am intending to do more of these special individual stock reports, and I think you'll like it. I want to thank so many of you for joining us, by the way, on our President's Day sale. It was phenomenal. I didn't know if it would have any legs to it because the Christmas period just ended and we did great there. I was shocked how many return people and new people came, and people I have no name of. They were not in our bases, and I think you'll like these special reports we're doing. Okay, so I'm not going to change the SPY. I'm going to lead off with that because I've hit my targets and I want to show them to you. And then I'll start making changes in the charts going forward. I don't know if I'll finish up this week with SPY or not, but I looked at it and I said, there's so much that I got to teach with it. I'm going to stay with it. Behind me, you see a sea of red, a big down day. There was no bounce in the market today. But the one interesting thing is volume was sort of anemic. And that could be that it's still the remainder of the President's Day week. You know, it's a 4-day week. Maybe that was it. But there was another event, and don't lose sight of this. It's a big event. We have been having week in and week out that if the market has a big break, the naysayers step in, and by day's end, they drive the market back up where you didn't even know there was a big intraday loss. That did not happen today. Did they throw in the towel, or are they on vacation with the rest of the people for President's Day? I don't know, but it was a big event, and I looked at it. Now, let's go and take a look at SPY. As you know, I've been bearish, and I've been telling you that I had by the way, had my futures traders with a sell recommendation, and I put out last night a buy number that I wanted them to cover at, and on the big break today, it was hit. Buy is covering shorts, not going long. You can see the big decline. The pattern here is not as clear as the futures because you had a higher high and a lower low. You did not have that in the futures markets. Here, the potential is still at 393.26 to 200, right here. Day moving average of closes in the 100, but the Bollinger Band's right there. What are the odds of staying under a Bollinger Band? How often? 5% of the time or above it. So 95% of the time, the market will trade within these bands. You can get above them, you can get below them, but you don't stay there very long. So professionals look at this, I believe. Do I know what every pro does? I don't know that. But I think they look at it the way it's set up. The algorithm is set so that 95% of the time, the market will find willing short coverers to come there. You might say, well, why not buy it? Because that's not how you play it, all right? How you play it, it's one thing to cover a short, but when your bias is down and your momentum is down, why are you doing that? I mean, you can pick a bottom wherever you want. Why not do it up here and say, that was the bottom? No, doesn't make sense. You are oversold at a Bollinger Band. You can extend that loss, but I think the smart money is starting to pick up their marbles and saying, I'll play another game with you later. In the gasoline, this is exactly what I've been looking for. The market's finding its support at the 100. day average. It found it earlier at right through here, the Bollinger Band bottom, and the resistance is right where it should be. It's going to be a combination of the 18-day average up to the 200, as you can see. It's early. It's not time to be long, but it's time to be getting ready to be long. So that is what I'm looking at. In Apple, I have been an advocate of not being long. I've been telling my clients that. I've been saying it's too overbought. I've been telling you that here. Go to last week's tapes. Now you've got a higher high and lower and low. I should have had this arrow up here pointing down. I just missed it. AMC, I love how it's trading. It is going to the upper Bollinger Band, capturing the people that are going, this is it, it's going to the moon. It's coming down, and as I teach, oversold condition to the Bollinger Band. Just like I said in SPY, that is where you cover shorts. You're void of a trend. You have a higher high, lower low. It's just marching around, but it's impressive. Up today, 16% in the market falling apart. The biggest break of the year, and this market is up. That's good news for AMC. I want movie theaters to last. You know, in Chicago, they're building a 96-foot theater. You hear? That's 3 school buses long, 1 screen. In the suburbs, you know I'm going to go see it. I can't imagine what it's like. Lower highs, lower lows in XLF, the financial services. All right, people are scared. Now, you've narrowed in enough where you got to be nervous here. And I know the first thing you're going to say to me, well, you stepped out of the Bollinger Band. You only do it 5% of the time. You're correct. There's a but. If you took my course, there's a breakout. A breakout occurs, and I'll share this with you, when the market gets under the Bollinger Band, closes in the bottom quadrant. Quadrant means you divide the range by 4 and you close in the lower 25%. If you do it 2 days in a row with lower and lows and do that, I consider that a downside breakout, which means the energy of the sideways action is now going to be used in a big thrust. Do I know if that's the case yet? I have to get through tomorrow to know that. But all eyes of mine are on it, which is all 4 of them, obviously. And we'll look to see, is this going to be a target or not, or is that just a false breakout and we're back into the Bollinger Band? In XLI, the market has got momentum down, but not a trend. Higher high, lower low. Again, a lot of sideways action. I don't see anything there. In SOX, they suckered so many people in up here. Everything you heard, got to buy these chips. It's a 5-year play. Artificial intelligence, it's going to run. Yeah, the only thing running is your account. It's running out of money. This thing is coming down right here. It is in a downtrend. There's more left, I think. It could easily get to the lower Bollinger Band, and then we'll see what goes on. But I think a top is in place in the near term. In the home builders, come on, this is a full year where existing home sales, they keep falling. So I'm not saying the home builders can't do well, but they've got to be selective. They're not going out at 6.5% mortgages or so and saying, I'm going to build some spec houses and I'll do a subdivision over here. That isn't going to happen. What's going to happen is they will build a few, they will get areas, they'll be their models, people come in, they want them, they'll be able to build that division that way. That's how they're going to do it. They'll be creative. They're going to offer in different ways. Hey, you want to refinance? We'll allow you to do it 2 times, 3 times. We'll pay whatever it is. Of course, they'll make it up in the price of the house, but that's going to be the game that goes on. So as they come down to the lower band, I think the pro money, oversold, I think they'll be covering shorts and people will go, why? Energy sector. We're at that time where, think about it, especially in the United States, we're going to be releasing oil again from our strategic reserve. Now, the great news is if President Biden will follow what he said, and if the Energy Department starts buying oil at the same time they're releasing it. I know it sounds nutty, but get down, if you could, another couple of dollars a barrel. And why aren't we going to go back like we were told? And they start filling in the oil. Now, they said in the neighborhood of $70. We're still above it in the WTI by about 6. That's a day's trade in a bad day. You're down to the Bollinger Band. I don't think you're going to have an easy time getting beyond this down to 82.58 as you're oversold. We'll see. I think the pros are covering shorts. In the gold market, I'll have an idea that I want to be buying only when the red line here closes over 21. Everything else to me is still bearish. Rallies are still being sold. I don't see the public. I see the public buying, but I don't think the pros are. I think they'll sell it to them until you lose that downside momentum. Silver, on the other hand, is starting to act a little better. For the very first time on this break, we now have a lower low and a higher high. Admittedly, the 100-day average is going to be the battle zone for a bit. You need to get the red line over 21, close there, and then I think you open the door for 2074. Is it a buy here? No, I'm not saying that in any manner. I'm saying that I think right now, I think today was a lot of short covering, but at the same time, if you keep this embedded reading, there's no reason not to be selling rallies. It's a mixed bag right here. In copper, you've had a bear market rally. The market, because of China, is lifted up. The Chinese government over the holiday told its banks to ease money, to lend money out, and they're holding their rates steady. That was the word, and that gave a lift to the metals as they're coming up. They want to see development. They want to see the finishing of apartment buildings that these developers are way under. So certain groups of them will get government help. The really speculative money won't be getting the government help, but copper's important. As you know, I think copper this year could easily be a $5 commodity. So it's a question of when China comes out of the COVID. And if you saw my newsletter over the weekend, I had said, I think if you take it from February 5th, when the lunar holiday was basically over, you're now 20 days out or so, what is it, 16 days out? So you're 16 days out. You've probably seen the max peak of COVID in China. They don't give us numbers, but I'm guessing that. Copper lifting tells me something's going on in China. They consume 50% of the world copper. In addition, are you reading at all about Chile and Peru? They have major uproars going in their government. There are people stopping the mines from working. They can't get enough electricity. There's real problems there. You want that. You don't want them adding more supply to the world right now. Let's burn off what we have. In TLT, this is called running the Bollinger Band. It's the Gorilla Glue trade. Until it's over, it ain't over. The rallies will get sold until the market loses the embedded reading on this type of play. It gets more bearish as it feeds on itself. UUP, the dollar's looking at interest rates going higher. It's getting a bid, and why not? Still looks to me higher until the red line closes under 79. And FXE looks like a short sale still until you get the red line over 21. So I put it all together and I go to myself, hey, I think there's some interesting trades there, and so should you. But today, what did I do? Today was all about Walmart. The special report. Click up here if you want to see it. Go to our website under research. I'm Ira Epstein. See you tomorrow.